Tune in, it's time for Kami G. Bringing stars and stories, it's where you wanna be. From celebs to entrepreneurs, she's got the scoop. Community and entertainment, she's in the loop. Every smile a burst of velvet light. Through the screen she shines so bright. With the laughs and tales that weave tonight.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio, and you tune into the Kami Grayson Show. And man, it is Thursday all day long, and I have a special treat for you. He goes by the name of David Thompson. But he has a special name that we're going to call him today. He's God's child. So that's the name we're going to call him today. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. Appreciate that. Hey, Kami, how you doing?
I'm good. Well, man, okay, so you've been on a journey. And I want my listeners and viewers to know about your journey. Why do you proclaim God's child? Tell us a little bit about you and how you got started.
Oh man, I'm originally from Houston. The reason why I've definitely proclaimed that I'm God's child because he literally reached down to the pits of hell and dragged drugs me out my thing. So I was strung out on drugs for over 24 years. I've really been in and out of jail, honestly, since I was like 13 years old. Probably even less than that. I'm gonna say 10 years old, but at age of 13, I went to like a juvenile penitentiary for like 6.5 years. I got out 19 years old. And from there, I kind of changed my life. But then, one thing about it, when you don't do it with God, it's like you really just doing it. You know what I'm saying? Your life is just you living, but you're not really living. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so the changes that I thought I had made through counseling, psychologists and stuff like that, I really just it was just like it just took a pause. You know what I'm saying? I think gang banging and all that stuff when I'm early in age, selling drugs and, doing all those things. And because I got locked up for those 6.5 years as a child, you know what I'm saying? And I was facing 20 years at that time too, you know what I'm saying? Even at 13. And so it was like everything took a pause. So I went through counseling, went through all that. Then as soon as I got out, maybe a year later, it didn't last. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was really back to doing what I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
But now I'm an adult at this point. You know what I'm saying? So the things I was doing as a child really got a little worse. You know what I'm saying? As an adult. So I went back to gang banging, you know what I'm saying? Went back to selling drugs, went back to, you know what I'm saying, hurting people and, just doing the most, you know what I'm saying? So in the process, I got addicted to drugs. You know what I'm saying? Originally it started with X pills. Then it went to cocaine, you know what I'm saying? And all these things I was selling. So it was just like, it was in abundance. It basically went from me just selling these drugs to keeping up with the clientele of these drugs too. So, and I was working all at the same time. I was making really good money. I was actually doing kind of the same things that I'm doing now, which my job at that time was, it's FF&E. FF&E stands for furniture, fixture, and electric. But it gave me the opportunity to travel all over the world. Travel all over the United States at that time. And what FF&E is basically we do furniture installs from Marriott and Hilton hotels at that time. So now you have a young mindset as an adult making all of this money plus selling drugs. You know what I'm saying? And so selling drugs and doing drugs. So none of it, I know it sounds the same because none of this stuff goes together, right?
Right.
One thing about it, but So now I'm making all of this money in all of these different areas. So by me making so much money, it just basically, one thing about it, when you have issues or you have problems, money just makes those problems a bigger problem. You know what I'm saying? It's not solving anything. It's just making it bigger. So if you just smoking weed as a, what I'm saying, you don't have that much money, smoking a joint, what I'm saying? When you have money, you're gonna have a plethora of things at your fingertips. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So so that's how my road went, what I'm saying? And then from cocaine it went to methamphetamines. So I was, you know, which was my most recent bout. You know what I'm saying? And I was doing meth probably for, I'm gonna say 15 years at least.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where certain things happened. My mother ended up passing away. A friend of mine that I was real close to, they was actually my next door neighbor. He ended up killing his wife and his daughter-in-law, which they live, like I said, they live right next door to us. They used to play with my girl at the time, her son. You know what I'm saying? We used to interact with each other. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up killing them, and it really kind of left a void in me, and I didn't know how to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you was talking to a person that was out there thugging and this and that. So I didn't know how to be depressed. I didn't even know what it was to be depressed. I didn't even know what it was to, you know what I'm saying? Sadness just really didn't even take over me like that. But
Right.
again, I'm doing drugs. So of course, at this point in my life, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do as many drugs as I can. Um, and like I said, I got strung out on cocaine originally, and then it went to meth. You know what I'm saying? So uh, once I ended up in the penitentiary, I ended up in the penitentiary for drugs and a weapon. Um, it set my life on a different course of action,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought I would probably change at that point, and I did make some changes. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about God, when He got a purpose for your life, man, He that He won't take His hand off you. He just gonna let you go through some things. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And because my mother was a prayer warrior. My sister Tonette, she was a prayer warrior. You know what I'm saying? My brother-in-law, prayer warriors. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, um, as I was going through this stage in my life at that point, and I even left something out. I'm sorry. I was also locked up for murder.
Oh my
At, at,
goodness.
at,
That was a big one you left
right.
out.
Yeah. And so I kind of like went through that process too. You know what I'm saying? For like a year and a half, I was fighting this case. That's why I keep telling you, I hold that title God's child because God snatched me out of so many things. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So let me backtrack. So with this
Okay.
murder case, right? Um, I was in the wrong place, wrong time. My truck is the one that left the scene at the time. So uh, I see my sister actually seen my face on a most wanted poster in Houston. You know what I'm saying? She used to work for the post office. That's where they have the little signs with show the wanted people or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And no sooner than she told me about this situation, they came and kicked my okay. And I'm not going to go through the whole details of the whole case and all that. You know what I'm saying? I just want you to know, I just want to show you something. Okay, so I'm in jail. I spent a year and a half in jail, going through this case, right? Um, in my mind, like I said, I started getting closer to God. God started revealing Himself to me at that time. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't, and I didn't, and I'm not the type of person that prays God, please get me out of this and get me out of that. You know what I'm saying? I done done a lot of, I done done a lot of bad things in my life, period. So even if it wasn't for that, I know that I've done things in my life. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm guilty of a lot of things. So, you know what I'm saying? Whatever punishment God got for me, you know what I'm saying? That was just what it was. And so,
Yeah.
even if it wasn't about the murder case, you know what I'm saying? If they was talking about giving me life in penitentiary. So, even if it wasn't for that, you know what I'm saying? It was for something else that God, you know what I'm saying? I just told God, man, look, don't make this about me going to the penitentiary and spending the rest of my life for nothing.
Right.
Excuse me. Um, mm,
It's okay. It's okay.
and so God started really dealing himself to me at that time. And you would think going through something like that, you know what I'm saying? You know, as you can see, I am out of jail.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm going to tell you the miraculous part about this whole story, right? And so I'm sitting in jail. I want to take these people to trial and everything, right? So, you know what I'm saying? With that, I'm sitting there, and throughout this whole entire experience, my lawyer just, it's like he was against me. You know what I'm saying? It was like my lawyer didn't really want to hear anything I had to say. You know what I'm saying? And it almost seemed like he was working on the DA side. But his name was Elijah. Now, the spelling of his name was like Elija. Never have seen that but one time in the whole entire Bible, the way that his name was spelled. You know what I'm saying? And so it gave me a confirmation, you know what I'm saying? And I had to really kind of check him up like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Look, God put you in my life and he put you in this path for a reason. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to use you. You just not allowing him to use you. And so bam, so as this time kept going, it was like at first his attitude was like, oh, they're trying to give you this amount of time. Oh, like literally it went from life. They literally wanted me to sign for life in the penitentiary. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It went from life. Then the numbers just started coming down. Then it went to like 60 years. Then it went to like 40 years. Like every time we went to court, they just kept going down, lower and lower. Then it went to like 25 years. Then it went to, you know what I'm saying? Like the last day I went to court, and this day I was supposed to go to trial on this day. He said, well, look, man, the DA told me to, before you go in there and go to trial, they offer you 5 years. I had a saying back then, and I would tell them, you know what I'm saying? I would tell the guys in the unit, I'd be like, man, look, what God has forgiven you for, no man can make you guilty. And so with that, when they said 5 years, I'm not gonna lie, I thought long and hard about that 5 years. Like that was unheard of. You know what I'm saying? For them to say 5. And the dude that I was close to on the tank, he was like, man, and like I said, I was gonna sign for this. He was like, man, you can't sign for that, man. He's like, man, you run around all day talking about what God has forgiven you, no man can make you guilty. And so with that, I said, man, you know what you showing right now. And I said, I stood on that. You know what I'm saying? So when I went to court, like I said, when I went to court and I told him that, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't taking no time. I wasn't accepting the time. My lawyer didn't show up. He left out. They told me to get dressed to go to trial. Like my mom had brought my unit, my suit and all that. She brought it. I'm dressed and I'm waiting on my attorney. My attorney never showed back. Like he didn't show back up
Wow.
like for hours. Like they literally told me to get undressed go back into the unit with everybody else. Everybody in you got to realize when you go to court, it's like 30 people in the same tank that you in to go to court. Everybody had already left. Everybody had already either got reset, they got released, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
Man, once my lawyer came back, I'm livid at this point. At this time, I stopped cursing and everything, and I was just like, man, where have you been? Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
said, do you realize how much stuff can happen since you've been gone, man? And he just said, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Thompson, and he slapped the paper on the window. And it said, it was a stamp on the bottom of it. It said dismissed.
Wow. Wow.
And so when that happened, I was released. All charges been dismissed. Everything, right? And you would think that would have turned my life around, and it did for a minute. You know what I'm saying? It did for a minute. But like I said, man, I basically started partying again, started, you know what I'm saying, using drugs all over again. And this is, like I said, this is after that situation, this is when I got strung out on meth. I got strung out on meth, you know what I'm saying, couldn't control it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was going through a state of depression, didn't even know what, you know what I'm saying, how to be depressed at that time. And like I said, I've been battling that for a whole minute. But when I went to jail this very last time, it was such a relief. Like when the handcuffs got put on me, and this was like May the 7th of 2025. This was recent. When it was like I was going through so much, like my life had went like completely down. Like I'm talking about lost my house, lost my car, lost, you know what I'm saying? The girl that I was with, she was cheating on me. I had to go live with my sister. Man, I lost my job for drugs and alcohol. You know what I'm saying? I was completely like, I had literally went all the way down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm finna tell you how bad it was. My normal weight is 230 pounds. Normal. You know what I'm saying? You know, every once in a while it'll fluctuate between 240, 230. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really go under that weight. When I went to jail this time, I was 157 pounds.
Wow.
So me being strung out is probably an understatement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can only imagine what I look like to my family. But um, give me a second.
Yeah. Take your time.
Okay. So there was one point when I was going through this phase of drugs and alcohol, like I was with the girl that I'm engaged to now. You know what I'm saying? She's also the mother of my child, Keisha. And I was on cocaine and meth. And at this time, I didn't know that my friend did drugs, but I mean any drugs other than cocaine, to be honest with you. And I went over to his house because this was also the person that I used to buy my cocaine from. You know what I'm saying? As far as like to sell, you know what I'm saying? As well as we would steal and we would do something. And when I went to his house, I seen him with a bag in his hand, and like I said, I'm already high. You know what I'm saying? I seen him with a bag in his hand, and I just snatched the bag in the straw of his hand because I'm thinking it's cocaine. All of a sudden, he was like, "No, no, no!" He said, "No, man, no, no, no!" And I hit it. And when I hit it, this feeling just literally came over me, my whole body went hot, like completely hot. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking back and forth. I'm looking back and forth. I'm like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And so when I'm looking back and forth, all of a sudden I just see myself just like, you know how I guess like when you're falling, you can just see the ceiling and then but you can't control yourself from falling.
Mm-hmm.
And come to find out, I didn't know that all of this stuff had happened. I just knew that that was the last thing I remember. You know what I'm saying? When I woke up, I was in the
Wow.
hospital. Unbeknownst to me, she said that my friend had tried to bring my truck over to the house, and she was like, "Nah, where's David?" He was like, "Nah, he at the house. He at the house. He sleep. He sleep." She was like, "Nah." She's like, "Nah, he ain't gonna let nobody drive his truck. He ain't gonna leave his truck." She said, "Nah." She
Mhm.
like God must have put it on her heart to come where I was. Like she was like, so she literally got in her car. She followed my homeboy to his house. You know what I'm saying? And she said when she seen me, I was on the ground. I wasn't responding. She said she was beating on my chest, slapping me back and forth. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't responding. And she told my homeboy, she was just like, "Man, look, I don't care what you do. You can put his body on the street, but I'm calling 911." Come to find out, I had overdosed. They said if in 8 more minutes I would have been completely dead. Like they had to
No.
revive me. I was probably in the hospital for about a good 2 weeks because I wasn't I wasn't I wasn't responding to nothing. So, I'm telling you this just because my bout with drugs and alcohol has been a journey for about 24 years.
Yeah.
And today, today I can say, like I said, when the handcuffs got put on me this time, it was such a relief because I was living in a battle that I could not fight. You know what I'm saying? It was like me watching myself like a movie, but couldn't fight.
Yeah.
Like the devil had his hold on me so hard. And so when I went to jail, every like this in jail, like I said, I done been in penitentiary and everything. This whole time that I went through this process of going through jail, this time was different. Like I knew God was with me the whole time. Like I knew that I wasn't going back to the same life, even though they were
Mm-hmm.
telling me, um, even though they were telling me I had the 20-year sentence I was facing.
Yeah.
They said I had a 20-year sentence I was facing this time, again for drugs and a pistol case. And so, um, scared to go to jail. I've been in jail several times. So for me, I asked God again, just
Hmm. Okay, looks like we lost David for a few minutes here. So if you just tuned in, we are talking to David Thompson, and he is giving his testimony of all the things that he's been through his drug addiction, to him going to jail, and so he's just kind of going, taking us with him on his journey. And so he's talking about his last encounter with jail. David, welcome back.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, so basically, like I said, I knew that I felt it when I went to jail like this time. I felt God pulling these things out of me. I literally got on the phone. Put it like this: I was just at so much peace. Even talking to the police officers, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew without a doubt, like this was like it was over. Like the reign of what I was going through was over. Like, you know what I'm saying? The bout, like, I don't know how to explain it. You know what I'm saying? How I knew this already. And it didn't even matter whether I was going to the penitentiary or not. You know what I'm saying? I just knew that this was my saving grace. I knew that God was going to deliver me from this. And so, when
So, so David, let us take a quick break and give you a few minutes,
Mhm.
and then we'll come back and we'll go through the next stage and what's going on now. How about that?
Okay.
From the heart of the coast where the waves rise high, they magazine we lift and amplify. Stories of love, of strength, of pride. Giving back, standing tall, side by side. We are the rhythm, we are the voice. Community rising, making bold choice. On short drive, we shine, we soar. They magazine, forever, ever.
Well, if you just tune in, you haven't tuned in too late. You tune into the Kami Grayson Show, and we are here with David, God's child, and he is telling us, a whole bunch of different things that he has gone through in his journey to get him from where he was to where he is now. And so, David, you know, uh, I am amazed. I am amazed that you've been through so very much. And the couple of questions I have, because I'm thinking at this point your whole journey is a book, right? It's a story that you probably need to write if you haven't already thought about writing this. This show will help you a lot because I can give you the transcripts to this show so that it gives you a start on writing your book. Okay. And so, and if you have already started, at least you'll be able to reference this show on the things that you have encountered and didn't think about when you were actually writing the book. So I want you to know I'll give that to
Yeah.
you, so that way you can get your story out there because I feel like it's a journey that other people might need to know. Because I guess going to my first question to you is when you were going down that journey, do you think now, do you reflect now on why you did what you did? I know you said you didn't have the emotional ties, you didn't understand grief and all that, but you started off before your mother died. You started that pathway
Right.
way before. Do you think you never mentioned your father? Do you think it was because he wasn't around, or was he around and wasn't around the right way? So where do you think that journey started? And could you have changed it if you would have known?
Um, I'm gonna say that the journey probably started. What I think started it. Really just out there being recreational. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Uh, I don't. I mean, people go through all kinds of stuff. I mean, I could blame it on this and blame it really and truly. Like I said, it was just me just being recreational. You know what I'm saying? Me
Mhm.
doing it. You know what I'm saying, for fun, hanging out. Smoking weed and this and that as a young age. But as far as as an adult, I loved everything about getting high. I loved everything about drinking. You know what I'm saying? You can ask anybody. I used to make drinks. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a bartender. You know what I'm saying? I used to experiment this and experiment that. And You know what I'm saying? Even when I started using drugs, I loved everything about it. You know what I'm saying? I loved the energy that it gave me. I loved the girls that was around. You know what I'm saying? I love being the person that people come to. You know what I'm saying? For this or for that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I said, I had the money to do kind of what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So, um, like I said, that's an addiction in itself. You know what I'm saying? Just the excitement of it all is that's an addiction in itself. You know what I'm saying? You get addicted to the lifestyle before you get addicted to the drug.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have any type of words of wisdom that you can share with people who might be in a similar situation or to deter them from getting in that type of situation?
Um, Man, I heard on one of your shows, it was like, treatment is important. Um, but treatment is highly important. You know what I'm saying? Counseling, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It's very important. You know what I'm saying? But you have to, it's a tie. You have to put you know what I'm saying? You have to put God with that. You know what I'm saying? You can't do nothing, you know what I'm saying? You can pursue things and you can do this and you can do that, but if you ain't got Christ, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, you really just kind of
All
going
right.
down a road that means nothing and it's not gonna last. Like I said,
Yeah.
I've been through all kind of counseling, psychologists, you know what I'm saying? Even you know what I'm saying, even through uh Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, you know what I'm saying? But it was because I was locked up and had to go through those courses. You know what I'm saying? I was either in a penitentiary or I was in TYC, you know what I'm saying, and I had to go through it. You know what I'm saying? It was a required course within, you know what I'm saying, going through that at that time. But as
Mhm.
far as like and I haven't had to go through any of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Um and literally, like I was explaining to you in the email, you know what I'm saying? It's been far removed from me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I didn't have to go through this and go through that, you know what I'm saying, voluntarily or you know what I'm saying, or like it made a change in me. You know what I'm saying? God literally snatched these things away from me. He snatched my addiction to sex. He snatched my addiction to guns. He snatched my addiction to drugs. He snatched my addiction to alcohol. I'm free of all of that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when I went to jail, I literally felt when it happened. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
felt it removed from me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, you can't go through a 24-hour bout with drugs and alcohol. You know what I'm saying? And then now I don't even have an urge to do it. I don't,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? I done been around people drinking, you know what I'm saying? Uh, I don't even have an urge to drink. You know what I'm saying? Even some of my coworkers, you know what I'm saying, that I used to be on the road with and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They may still do drugs. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because I try my best to not be in situations like that. You know what I'm saying? Or be around certain things like that just because, you know, it's so important
Right.
to, first of all, not tempt yourself, but second of all, to try to, you know what I'm saying, stay clear of those things. You know what I'm saying? One thing about Philippians 4:8, it says to focus on, you know what I'm saying, things that are pure, things that are good. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of internalize that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna set myself up, you know what I'm saying, for that. But at the same time, like I said, I've been around it. It's just I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? I like,
Mhm.
it's not me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you have, you've way better than a whole lot of other people. You know, your
Right.
situation, with your support team. I want to say Keisha is your a big supporter of yours, and
I
a lot
got
of
I
people
got
don't
I
have a
got a great.
Keisha. A lot of people,
Yeah.
she knew that you wasn't in your truck.
Yeah, I got a great support team. Like I said,
So yeah, so
that's my fiance. But like I said, my sister and my brother-in-law, they pastors. My pastor in my church, you know what I'm saying? I encountered, you know what I'm saying? Like I got my support team, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely, I would tell people, make sure that you have a great support team. Like, you can't do this thing by yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you cannot do it by yourself in no shape, form, or fashion. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have people that's gonna hold you accountable. You gotta have people that's gonna be there for you. They're gonna tell you they love you. They're gonna tell you that they care for you, but they're gonna be straight up with you too. They're gonna tell you exactly what you need to know. They're gonna tell you, they're gonna check you up when you know what I'm saying, you get into them
Yeah.
points where you just feeling like like you feeling, you know what I'm saying, sorry for yourself and this and that. Nah, man, you know what I'm saying? Get up. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gonna be real with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I got a great support team.
Yeah. And that's good. That's wonderful. Okay, David, says we wrap this up. Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience?
I didn't catch that. I'm sorry.
No, I said as we wrap it
Hello?
up, is there anything special you would like to share with our audience? Can you hear
I
me?
think we lost sound for some reason. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Okay. Well, that's okay, David. So since you can't hear me, what we're going to do, we're going to wrap the show up. And we'll go get ready for we're going to wrap the show up, and we'll leave a contact information in our chat room. Okay. Well, I know you can't hear me. So, okay, guys, until next time, right here on SKST Radio. And since David can't hear
Well,
us,
I can't hear you.
okay, but we're going to say bye.